Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to our Get Astrologic Now YouTube channel. And now I'm going to talk about the month of July, which we have many changes. This summer is pivotal in world events because what we're looking at in the month of July is the change where we have Rahu and Ketu will shift signs. Rahu is going to go into Virgo and Ketu is going to go into Pisces. The nodes of the moon, which are Rahu and Ketu, change signs every year and a half. And this is really important because when they change, they're going to change in your chart, and it's going to depict a whole different array of different circumstances in your life. And especially there's going to be huge changes globally in the world. They change signs every 18 months. So we're looking at this shift every 18 months, and where they change to, there are going to be the solar and lunar eclipses for the next 18 months. So wherever the solar and lunar eclipses are in a chart or in the sky, depict where the biggest changes are. So as I said, with Rahu going into the sign of Virgo, Virgo deals with health and healing. And recently we have had Mars, which went retrograde into the sign of Virgo, where it's stationed, and Mars was actually in Virgo for approximately like about 7 months when it goes retrograde. It's retrograde not that long, but the whole time period in this process, it'll spend approximately 7 months in a particular sign. So we have Mars and Virgo. Virgo's about health and healing, and wherever planet stations, particularly Mars, this is a big event concerning this area of the zodiac, health and healing. And we have had an array of different viruses and disease potential that has started up globally in this world. So now we have Rahu is going to go into Virgo. So this is going to intensify this area that Mars has already created. And what I'm going to say is there's going to be a much stronger possibility of a disease potential, because you see, Virgo is health and healing, but Rahu deals with epidemics and pandemics. So this is where we need to take caution and heed the warnings of where Rahu and Ketu are. Now in July, when they change signs, which is around July 14th, we also have a big event where Mars and Rahu are going to come together approximately around 0 degrees of Libra. And this is a very important degree because you see, in the spring, in March, these planets came so close to colliding together. They were like within 2 degrees of each other, but then they separated by the retrograde process and parted. But now they're going to cross. So that which was started within this period in March will be completed within the month of July, around the 14th. So you see, this is the time period that things will come together. And what is Mars and Rahu all about? They're simply about war and contention and anger. And I think which was started, which there was the threat of war, if you remember, around Russia and all these, Middle Eastern, a lot of things were happening. So this is the time when I think it will be complete and come together, and something will transpire and happen. Also, I noticed that with Ketu going into the sign of Pisces, it's going to be coming together with Uranus, which is the planet of sudden, unexpected changes. So when we have Ketu and Uranus come together in Pisces, we also have Jupiter, which has just shifted into Cancer last month, in the month of June. And as a matter of fact, June 18th. And Jupiter in Cancer is stronger by the fact that it's exalted in the sign, although now it's come to a position where Saturn is aspecting it from the sign of Libra. So Jupiter hasn't picked up the strength that people believe just because it's exalted, because you see, it's aspected by Saturn. And not only that, it's in the very early degrees, so it's weak. But as Jupiter picks up strength in the sign of Cancer, it's going to be casting a trine to the sign of Pisces, where we have Ketu coming together with Uranus. So as Jupiter casts this trine to this position, Jupiter will be casting a trine to a sign that it rules. Therefore, this is going to be very empowering. We're going to see that this particular placement in the sign of Pisces is going to be enormous. I believe it's going to be something radical, a big shift, a big change of consciousness, and I think it's going to change the world. It's going to change how we believe, what we're doing, and spirituality, because remember, Pisces is the sign of compassion. It's a sign of love. So what we're going to find is this compassion and this love that is going to exude, and I think it's going to be because of a strong event that could happen this July or in August when Saturn and Mars come together. So these are going to be a pivotal time. Now I want to talk about some other interesting things that are occurring this month. Around July 20th and 21st, Saturn and Uranus are going to station. Saturn in this case is going to go from retrograde to direct, but it's stopping and standing still. While likewise Uranus at 22 degrees of Pisces, it's going to station, stop, and go retrograde. So we have Saturn and Uranus both, interestingly enough, at 22 degrees. Uranus is in Pisces at 22 degrees. Saturn is 22 degrees of Libra. Now they form what we call a 6-8 relationship. It's pretty much the quincunx in Western astrology. And this is a very disruptive aspect because it brings the quality of the 6th house and the 8th house together, which is very, very discordant and difficult. I also noticed that during this time, Venus will be in Taurus, which will complete this quincunx into a yod. Remember, the yod is called the finger of God. So something is coming about concerning matters that Venus involves, which Venus is war and peace, of course, but it's also the economy and money. So you're going to find that things are going to get pretty hectic and discordant. There's going to be highs and lows in the stock market, considering the fact that Venus is in a position of Taurus, which rules money, and it's in this difficult aspect which forms a yod between Saturn and Uranus. And when Uranus does station, by the way, it does rule earthquakes. So during this time of around July 20th, 21st, you're going to see some big shakeups globally and in the world. And this means emotionally, the masses of people are having a hard time, but this also affects world changes such as earthquakes. Now, July 1st, finally, Mercury is going to go direct. It has been retrograde for a long time, and this time, but when Mercury changes directions, remember, things have to change and things need to, it's not a good time to do anything new. Start new projects about 2 weeks following. So we have the full moon, which will be in Purvashada. This will be around July 12th, and Purvashada does deal with declarations of war, so do watch that. Around July 19th, we have the Sun square Mars. This is not a good time to buy a car, to buy any electronical equipment. Be wary of that. And around July 24th, the Sun will conjunct Jupiter. And this is a Cassini, where they become one and the same. This is a great day, but before or after this day, Jupiter becomes combust, being too close to the Sun, so it's weak. Around June 26, we have the new moon, which is in Cancer, in Pusha, and it will be very close to Jupiter. This is a time of optimism and where our heart, it opens, because I believe there's events that are opening our compassionate heart, and this is a big shift and change in the world. And towards the end of the month, around July 28th and 30th, we have Venus that will form a T-square. It will oppose Pluto and it will square Uranus. And interestingly enough, this is still dealing with around this 22-degree mark. So I think during this time, we'll be in shaky ground financially. There will be a lot of problems in the economy that will surface, and there will be a healing, because this is what big explosive events are here to do. they are actually to create balance in the world. And so this is pretty much what I wanted to say. I want you to know that this is going to be a pivotal month of many changes, but the end result will be compassion and peace. And with that, I want to close and say, if you would like a private reading with me, you may go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Thank you.